You wake to a blaring alarm, heart pounding, cortisol spiking, fight or flight before you even open your eyes. Every single morning starts with stress. Your body jolts from deep sleep into emergency mode in seconds. You hit snooze. The cycle repeats. By the time you actually get up, you have flooded your system with stress hormones 3 times before breakfast. This is not how humans evolved to wake. This is not natural. And it is destroying your sleep architecture piece by piece. Every choice made during construction actively works against your ability to sleep and wake naturally, and the data proves it. Because almost nobody has bothered to study how building design affects your internal clock. The researchers found that modifiable architectural features like window glazing directly affect light exposure and circadian biology. Most emphasis was on window-related aspects, but the findings were preliminary. First, explorations only, not suitable to compare glazing versus shading versus position. The most striking discovery? Novel findings showed potential for time-specific alteration of blue light transmittance through windows. Your windows could be programmed to shift their light filtering based on the time of day, but they are not. Your bedroom window is your only connection to the natural light cycle, and it is wrong, completely wrong. The International Residential Code requires minimum bedroom window area of 8% of floor area. A 10-foot by 12-foot bedroom legally needs only 9.6 square feet of window. That is a window roughly 3 feet by 3 feet. For an entire room where you spend 8 hours unconscious. 0.001 lux to photopic. Bright light at 100,000 lux. Indoor artificial light in homes typically measures 200 to 500 lux. Outdoor daylight, even on cloudy days, hits 10,000 lux. Bright sunlight reaches 100,000 lux. Your tiny bedroom window filters this down to maybe 500 to 1,000 lux if you're lucky. If the window faces the right direction, if there are no buildings blocking it, if you open the blinds, the suprachiasmatic nucleus in your hypothalamus acts as your master clock. It receives input from intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells in your eyes. These cells are most sensitive to blue wavelength light around 460 to 480 nanometers. This is the wavelength dominant in morning sunlight. When these cells detect bright blue, rich light, they signal the suprachiasmatic nucleus that it is daytime. The nucleus suppresses melatonin production, increases cortisol, raises body temperature, signals alertness. A November 2024 study published in Buildings Journal examined circadian lighting design frameworks. Researchers found that although individuals may perceive cooler shades as more soothing, they actually disrupt circadian rhythm. People prefer dimmer, warmer lighting, but they require periodic exposure to bright, cool light, especially when spending significant time indoors during the day. This creates a fundamental design trade-off. Window size versus glare and energy. Psychological comfort versus physiological health. And every modern building chooses wrong. Environment involves systematic screening of 31 databases examining architectural features alongside light, dark exposure, and circadian biology. The Buildings Journal article from April 17, 2024 on human-centric lighting design was developed based on review of literature, lighting codes and standards and available design tools, specifically for creating lighting systems supporting healthy circadian rhythms. These are not blog posts, these are peer-reviewed publications from institutions conducting the actual measurements. Back to the information. Now your brain is monitoring for threats instead of regenerating. 15 minutes later, you drop back into stage 3. Neighbor 2 walks across their floor above you. Footsteps, 40 decibels. Not enough to wake you fully, enough to shift you back to stage 2. It shows you got 7 hours in bed, but only 4.5 hours of actual restorative deep sleep. The rest was fragmented light sleep, where your body cannot complete its repair processes. Sounds exceeding 50 decibels cause annoyance, disturbed sleep delirium, and elevations in blood pressure. They are linked to ischemic heart disease in healthy populations. A February 6, 2023 study in Frontiers in Psychology examining sound environment in urban apartment buildings found that mounting evidence over past decades indicates strong association between noise and well-being concerning psychological and health issues. Standard interior walls have sound transmission class ratings of 30 to 35. That means they reduce sound by 30 to 35 decibels. A conversation at 60 decibels in the next apartment reaches your bedroom at 25 to 30 decibels, right at the threshold where sleep disruption begins. These travel through the building structure itself. They vibrate through walls, floors, and ceilings before reaching your ears. A January 2017 study in applied acoustics measured noise levels in 26 residential apartments in Korea. They performed 24-hour noise recordings in each residence, found that 20 apartments met WHO guidelines during daytime. But at night, 8 apartments exceeded WHO guideline values for equivalent sound level. 22 apartments exceeded WHO limits for maximum sound pressure level during night. Human footsteps, movement of furniture, and dropping of small items were major sources accounting for approximately 80% of all noise events. Children jumping registered higher maximum levels than other sources. The study measured a weighted maximum sound pressure levels. Children jumping hit peaks above 60 decibels regularly. Adult walking showed large variation from 30 to 50 decibels depending on footfall pattern. These measurements were taken in heavyweight residential buildings. Concrete construction, the type marketed as luxury, sound insulation quality. Yet they still failed WHO nighttime guidelines in 85% of units tested. Now consider lightweight construction, wood frame apartments, 5/1 buildings, stick-built structures. These dominate new urban development because they are cheap and fast. Sound transmission is dramatically worse. Footsteps above you register 40 to 50 decibels in your bedroom. The person walks across their kitchen at 2 a.m. and you transition out of REM sleep. You do not wake, but your brain registers the sound. Shifts, sleep stages, REM is interrupted. Your emotional regulation suffers, memory consolidation fails. You wake up tired even after 8 hours in bed. Modern bedrooms get all three wrong simultaneously. The optimal bedroom temperature for sleep is between 18 and 21 degrees Celsius, 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Multiple studies converge on this range, but modern bedrooms regularly exceed it. Why? Because buildings are designed for energy efficiency, not sleep quality. Community dwelling, older adults. Researchers conducted longitudinal observation using wearable sleep monitors and environmental sensors, assessed sleep duration efficiency and restlessness over extended period within participants' homes. The findings were striking. Sleep was most efficient and restful when nighttime ambient temperature ranged between 20 and 25 degrees Celsius. Sleep efficiency dropped 5 to 10% when temperature increased from 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. This is a clinically relevant drop. 5 to 10% less efficient sleep means you need an extra 30 to 45 minutes in bed to get the same restorative sleep. But everyone performed worse in hot bedrooms. At temperatures above 25 degrees Celsius, sleep efficiency declined across all subjects. At 30 degrees, sleep became significantly impaired. People spent more time awake in bed, unsuccessfully trying to sleep. HVAC systems designed to minimize energy cost, not optimize bedroom temperature. You go to sleep at 11 p.m. when your apartment is still 26 degrees from afternoon heat. Your body cannot trigger the temperature drop needed for deep sleep initiation. You toss and turn for an hour, finally fall asleep around midnight. Your total sleep opportunity just decreased from 8 hours to 7. Your bedroom hits 30 degrees at night. Research shows sleep efficiency drops 10%. Your 8 hours in bed now yields only 6 hours of actual sleep. Do this for a week during a heat wave. You accumulate 14 hours of sleep debt, equivalent to staying awake for 24 hours straight. Your cognitive function matches someone legally drunk. Your emotional regulation fails, your immune system weakens. All because your bedroom is designed for energy efficiency ratings, not human thermoregulation. 2020 and 2024 investigated whether bedroom air quality and ventilation affect sleep quality. 11 of these studies were funded by ASHRAE 1837 RP, a project undertaken to develop case for revisiting ventilation requirements in residential environments, specifically focusing on outdoor air supply rate in bedrooms. When bedroom windows are closed, carbon dioxide concentration reaches 1,800 parts per million average, 2,300 parts per million at 95th percentile. WHO guidelines suggest keeping indoor CO2 below 1,000 parts per million. Your sealed bedroom doubles that. High CO2 causes sleep disruption, reduces sleep efficiency. Next morning, cognitive performance declines significantly. Now you get noise, traffic, neighbors, urban sound. That 45 decibel guideline shattered. You trade stale high CO2 air for sleep disrupting noise. Another impossible choice. Modern apartment design forces you to pick between adequate oxygen and acoustic comfort. You cannot have both. Carbon dioxide levels dropped dramatically with windows open, but cold outdoor air disrupted sleep through thermal discomfort. Participants rated air as fresher with windows open but reported higher noise levels, felt less rested, worse mental state and well-being. Their replies on Groningen's sleep quality scale indicated poorer sleep quality overall. Benefits of reduced CO2 were negated by increased noise and temperature disruption. A similar study in Shanghai during summer found different results. Opening windows improved perceived air freshness, but raised PM 2.5 concentrations. Increased noise intensity, decreased REM sleep duration. The takeaway? Your bedroom window cannot solve the ventilation problem. The building design created this problem. Individual behavior cannot fix it. They are designed to meet minimum code requirements, deliver specified cubic feet per minute of outdoor air, but specifications ignore sleep quality, focus on preventing mold and structural damage, not optimizing human circadian function or deep sleep stages. Your HVAC runs on a timer, shuts off at night to save energy, right when you need fresh air most. CO2 builds, sleep suffers. Every design choice prioritizes building performance over human performance, energy efficiency over sleep efficiency, construction cost over health cost, and you pay the price every single night. Light pollution penetrates your inadequate window covering, but they did not reach consensus on whether blue light from screens before bed impairs sleep in adults. Why? Because isolating blue light effects from other factors is complex. Brightness matters, duration matters, content matters, timing matters. Studies show inadequate natural light exposure during day and excessive artificial light at night, especially from digital screens, are common in urban life, lead to circadian misalignment and health issues such as sleep disorders, depression, and metabolic dysfunction. March 3, 2025. JAMA Network Open published a study examining electronic screen use and sleep in 122,058 participants in American Cancer Society Cancer Prevention Study 3. Cross-sectional analysis found screen use associated with decreased sleep duration and worse self-reported sleep quality. Associations more pronounced in participants with later chronotype. Exposure to bright lights before sleep delays release of melatonin. Increases sleep latency. Disrupts circadian rhythm. A November 2024 study in Time magazine covered research finding that over 80% of participants reported using screens at bedtime in past month. Nearly half reported using screens every night. LED from laptop in corner. Street light bleeding through curtain gaps. Neighboring apartment windows. All of this light reaches your retina. All of it suppresses melatonin. All of it delays sleep onset. A 2011 study in Journal of Applied Physiology found link between blue light exposure and melatonin suppression. Evening use of light-emitting devices increases alertness and decreases sleepiness before bedtime, as determined by cognitive performance, self-reported scales, and waking EEG measures. These studies showed light suppresses blood levels of sleep, promoting hormone melatonin, which normally increases in hours before bedtime. The magnitude matters. One study found melatonin suppression induced by moderately bright indoor light levels in evening was twice as much in primary school children as in adults. Children show significantly greater melatonin suppression compared to adolescents in response to varying degrees of evening light exposure. This difference may relate to pupil diameter, which is significantly larger in children than adults, meaning children are even more vulnerable to artificial light disruption. Shortened sleep duration by 24 minutes. Screen time directly replaces sleep. Light exposure suppresses melatonin secretion and delays circadian rhythm. Screen-based activities lead to increased arousal, prolonging time to fall asleep. Notifications from devices interrupt sleep after sleep onset. Every night you fight against your own apartment to achieve baseline sleep conditions humans evolved to need. And you lose, because architecture beats biology when biology is ignored. You could not fall asleep until midnight, despite getting in bed at 10:30. Now it is 6:30 a.m., time to wake for work. Your natural wake time based on when you actually fell asleep would be 8 a.m. But society does not care about your actual sleep need. Society demands you wake at 6:30. Your sympathetic nervous system detonates, fight or flight response. Heart rate spikes, blood pressure jumps. Adrenaline floods your system, cortisol surges. Prepares your body for anticipated stressors of day, but this natural response assumes you wake gradually, naturally, when your body is ready. Cortisol floods faster and higher than natural awakening response. Your cardiovascular system mobilizes. A study in PMC examining acute physiological stress response to emergency alarm and mobilization found heart rate was significantly higher in both day and night alarm conditions compared to control conditions. The sympathetic nervous system controls fight or flight response and goes into high gear when suddenly awakened. This stress surge leads to symptoms like fatigue, anxiety, and shortness of breath. May 14, 2025, article on alarm clocks and sleep noted that research shows abrupt awakenings can jolt cardiovascular system flood body with cortisol and derail circadian rhythm. Study using smartwatches and blood pressure cuffs gave researchers a clear look at physical stress caused by being abruptly pulled out of sleep. That spike in blood pressure is serious red flag linked to higher risk of heart attacks and strokes. This happens every single morning, 5 days per week, 52 weeks per year. 260 mornings per year, you shock your body into emergency mode before consciousness. Disruption of natural light. Dark cycles results in immune, endocrine, and metabolic function changes. When timing of suprachiasmatic nucleus or peripheral rhythms is altered or disrupted by improperly timed synchronizing cues, such as light at night, circadian rhythms become disrupted and internally desynchronized. Little light in morning, advancing light. Net effect shifted body clock to later time. Another study examined sleep-wake timing in individuals after 1 week of maintaining daily routines of work, school, social activities, and exposure to electrical lighting compared to 1 week of outdoor camping in tents exposed to natural light. After a week of exposure to natural lighting, Circadian timing and sleep-wake cycles had advanced by 2 hours. 2 hours, just from proper light exposure. The data proves modern architecture is incompatible with human sleep biology, but nobody talks about it. Building codes focus on fire safety, structural integrity, and energy efficiency. Important. But they ignore sleep health, ignore circadian disruption, ignore that we spend 1/3 of our lives in bedrooms actively fighting against building design to achieve basic biological functions. A March 13, 2024 study in sleep medicine involving longitudinal research found that electronic media use at particular time of day renders differential effect on sleep. Screen light-induced melatonin suppression potentially less significant during biological daytime due to extremely low melatonin secretion, but evening and nighttime exposure impacts sleep preparation. Electronic media use at time close to bedtime replaces time for sleep, suggesting significant influence on sleep quality and duration. 4-week field experiment involving 15 subjects conducted in office using intelligent lighting control system. Physiological parameters, including melatonin levels and core body temperature along with related questionnaires, assessed effectiveness. Found that following daylight pattern lighting improved sleep quality, increased average melatonin secretion 1.5-fold compared to standard lighting. Blue enriched light during evening decreased melatonin secretion 3.7-fold and delayed circadian phase impairing sleep quality. Time-specific light spectra and intensity shifts critically affect circadian phase. Updated for energy efficiency in 2000s. Never updated for circadian health, never updated for sleep science. The contractors building your apartment do not know what photoreceptive retinal ganglion cells are, do not know optimal bedroom temperature range, do not care about WHO noise guidelines. They care about passing inspection, minimizing cost, maximizing profit per square foot. If you value documented sleep and circadian health like this, subscribe. Comment which city you are hearing this from. This content is based on real research, including the August 2025 Science Direct study on circadian lighting in office environments, involving 4-week field measurements published as long-term evidence-based study of circadian rhythm-oriented control strategies. The March 2025 JAMA Network Open study involved 122,058 participants from American Cancer Society Cancer Prevention Study 3, providing large-scale data on screen use and sleep outcomes. These are massive data sets, longitudinal observations, not speculation. Back to the information. March 13, 2025. Study published in Journal of Sleep Research examined impact of dynamic lighting on sleep timing and duration for hospitalized patients. Patients admitted to cardiology unit rooms with customized intervention or standard lighting. Lighting system delivered blue enriched light during day, melanopic stimulus twice daily, blue depleted light in evening, sleep measured using mattress sensors over 2 weeks. Results were remarkable. Subjects experiencing customized lighting demonstrated significantly advanced rest-wake activity phase by 160 minutes. Overall greater sleep probability. Overnight sleep duration between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. was 66 minutes greater in lighting condition, 266 minutes versus 200 minutes. Patients in intervention group reported higher levels of alertness during morning. Karolinska Sleepiness Scale, score 3.8 versus 4.9. Evening alertness also improved, score 5.4 versus 7.1. Hospitals spent money on proper lighting because patient recovery directly affects their revenue. Apartment buildings have no such incentive. Your poor sleep costs you, not them. Emergency egress, because code requires it. Cost, because developer demands it. Everything else is secondary. The November 2024 University of Cologne study specifically noted novel findings showing potential for time-specific alteration of blue light transmittance through windows. This technology exists. Glass that changes spectral transmission based on time of day. Morning lets through blue-rich light. Evening filters it out. Perfect for circadian health. Available, technically feasible, never used in residential construction. Too expensive, adds nothing to sale price. Developers will not pay for it. Ventilation has best solutions. Energy recovery ventilators, heat recovery ventilators, bring in fresh outdoor air, exhaust stale indoor air, exchange heat between streams, maintain temperature, provide continuous fresh air without energy penalty, eliminate CO2 buildup, perfect for bedroom sleep quality. Code requires them in many jurisdictions. Builders install cheapest possible unit. Size it for minimum code requirement. Place intake and exhaust in wrong locations. Your bedroom gets inadequate fresh air, still builds up CO2, still forces impossible choice between stale air and noise. Developers maximize saleable square footage, minimizes circulation space, minimizes unit size. Architects work within these constraints, design to code minimums, meet energy targets. Contractors bid to lowest cost, use cheapest materials, meeting code. Inspectors verify code compliance. Nobody measures sleep outcomes. Nobody measures circadian disruption. Nobody measures accumulated stress from chronic poor sleep. First night, you realize bedroom faces street. Traffic noise all night. Second night, you realize neighbor walks around at 2 a.m. Structure-borne noise through floor. Third night, you realize bedroom is hot. HVAC cannot keep pace with solar gain through inadequate window insulation. Fourth night, you realize street light shines directly through curtain gap. Week 1, you buy blackout curtains, noise machine, bedroom fan, sleep mask. You are now spending hundreds of dollars on aftermarket solutions to problems that proper building design would have prevented. You are self-treating architectural failures. You bought fixes for symptoms. The disease is the building itself. Experimental studies suggest restricted sleep duration causes blood vessel dysfunction, induces changes in glucose metabolism and appetite regulation, impairs memory consolidation, sleep disruption considered major adverse consequence of exposure to environmental noise, coronary heart disease, hypertension. Subanalysis at lower noise levels retained significant relationship, meaning even moderate noise exposure below WHO limits still damages cardiovascular health. Your apartment noise exposure, probably below 50 decibels, still harmful, still accumulating damage, still increasing disease risk every single night. Prolonged exposure to bedroom temperatures above 25 degrees Celsius disrupts sleep efficiency, reduces deep sleep, impairs memory consolidation, weakens immune function. Do this chronically for years, living in an urban apartment during summer months, and health consequences compound. Metabolic dysfunction, weight gain, insulin resistance. Your bedroom temperature is making you sick. Exposure to electric light at night is pervasive in modern society, has important health implications due to disruptive effects of mistimed light exposure on circadian system, shift work common cause of disruption to circadian system associated with several negative health conditions, metabolic syndrome, cancer, depression. Your bedroom light exposure mimics shift work, inadequate bright light during day, excessive dim light at night. Circadian disruption without the shift work paycheck. Acoustic isolation meeting WHO nighttime guidelines. Proper floor ceiling assemblies preventing structure-borne noise. Advanced ventilation providing continuous fresh air without noise or temperature penalty. Temperature control systems maintaining bedroom between 18 and 21 Celsius year-round. Circadian lighting fixtures providing bright blue-rich light morning and warm dim light evening. Blackout shading blocking all external light pollution. Question is whether they would choose to not pay it. Information asymmetry prevents market solution. You cannot buy what you cannot see, cannot evaluate what is not disclosed. Structural integrity, energy efficiency, why not sleep health? 3,000 years ago, humans slept in naturally dark, quiet spaces. Temperature controlled by season and climate but stable overnight, woke to gradual sunrise, circadian rhythm perfectly synchronized, no alarm clocks, no light pollution, no structure-borne noise from neighbors. Just natural sleep-wake cycle evolved over millions of years. But buildings still had high ceilings, thick walls, large windows, natural ventilation. Cities were quieter, less traffic, no electronic devices. Sleep disruption beginning but manageable. Notifications at night. Social media before sleep, combined with sealed, thin-walled, overheated urban apartments, and sleep quality collapsed. We are first generation living in buildings completely disconnected from natural environment while surrounded by circadian disrupting technology. The experiment is running. The results are clear. We cannot sleep naturally anymore. Modern architecture stole our ability to wake naturally, replaced it with alarm clock, cortisol surge, daily stress response, and we accept this as normal, as inevitable, as just how life works now. You cannot fix this individually. You cannot buy your way out of bad architecture. You can buy blackout curtains and white noise machines and smart thermostats and sleep trackers and sunrise alarm clocks and weighted blankets and cooling mattress pads. You can spend thousands of dollars on sleep optimization products. You still cannot overcome fundamental design failure. Small window, thin walls, poor ventilation, wrong temperature. You are fixing symptoms. Building is disease. Until then, you are trapped. Trapped in bedroom designed for profit. Fighting every night to achieve baseline sleep humans evolved to need. Losing, waking to alarm, cortisol surge, starting every day with stress, unable to wake naturally because architecture you live in was never designed for natural waking, never designed for sleep at all. 22 exceeded WHO nighttime noise limits. August 2025. 122,000 Americans surveyed. Screen use cuts 50 minutes per week from sleep. March 2025. Hospitalized patients with proper lighting gained 66 minutes of sleep per night. The data is there, published, peer-reviewed, ignored. 7.5 hours from now, you will get maybe 6 hours of actual sleep if you are lucky. If neighbors are quiet, if bedroom stays cool, if no light bleeds through curtains, if you can fall asleep despite inadequate daytime light exposure, keeping your circadian rhythm misaligned. If your body can override the fact that every single architectural element of your bedroom was designed without consideration for human sleep biology. The alarm is set. 7.5 hours from now, it will fire. 90 decibels, emergency. You will jolt from deep sleep into fight or flight. Cortisol will surge, heart rate will spike, blood pressure will jump. You will start another day with biochemical stress response. Because you cannot wake naturally. Because modern life architecture makes natural waking impossible. And tomorrow morning, when that alarm fires, you will hit snooze. Trigger the stress response again, 9 minutes later again, 3 emergency alerts before breakfast, every single morning, year after year, decade after decade. The health costs accumulating, the sleep debt growing. All because someone decided bedroom windows should be 3 feet wide instead of 6. Walls should be 4 inches of drywall instead of 8 inches of mass. Temperature control should meet minimum energy code, not optimal sleep range.